Hey, what's going on? I appreciate you for being here. In recognition of the day, gotta say praise to the Lord. What an amazing day it is, and what a wonderful one to share with you, along with the other Forza 1 and 2 with faith. So, as you see in front of me, I'm in my garage in the game. But what you don't see is this in front. This is what I call a tabloid folder. I have some things in here that I want to share before getting started. As you can see, there is a vehicle. Get it going. This is a recognition of a school that I substitute teach at, and their mascot is a lion. So there's a thing called Heart of a Lion. There we go, even better. Sometimes silence speaks volumes, which is why I often drive with the radio off now. But it was not always of the case, as before the Lenten season, I had music playing on a nearly daily basis. Last time I drove a long distance or even time itself was when I first got my license, and I didn't drive with the radio on for a year. But getting back to this right here, this is tabloid paper as well. You may see some holes punched in the front because I also have a tabloid binder, which is really cool. So getting to the Heart of a Lion, which is part of the theme to this Forza with Faith 3 option, is the view that I can provide you all the while. That's so cool. So as you see right here, land for thoughts to roam. I just love this view that I can provide you. And when I unlocked this land right here the other day, it was the fact of what I could provide you in nature here and content here. So the Heart of the Lion, for what they represent, which I think is also important for any high school level, is this care concept. C for collaboration, A for accountability, R for respect, E for empathy. How do they lay this out? I'm glad you asked. Collaboration. I participate, I share ideas, I am inclusive, I am open minded. Accountability. I am prepared, I am engaged, I take ownership of my actions, I self reflect and adjust to repair harm. Respect. I use kind words, I perform kind actions, I take care of my environment. E. Empathy. I appreciate the differences in others, I am understanding of other people's limitations. I am sensitive to other people's feelings. And why is all that important? Well, it also connects with the district's focus, which they have here. Communicator, person who exchanges ideas and information with others of diverse backgrounds and viewpoints. Problem solver, a person who actively applies knowledge with empathy to both personal and community issues. C. Collaborator, a person who actively participates and shares ideas while working toward a common goal. Our mission inspires students to reach their full potential as lifelong learners and responsible global citizens. Beautiful. And for what their mascot serves is eagles. E for engaged, A for accepting, G for gracious, L for leaders, E for energized, and S is to succeed, which is an amazing combination between the heart of a lion and that of an eagle, which I put down here in an equation. Roar plus soar equal triumphant victory. And through learning of these things here from substitute teaching, it put me on a level where I had prayed to the Lord to help me remember scripture, at least one, if it could be of anything, at least one that would be really important to me. And that one is Proverbs 22, line 6. And the way they should go, even when old, they would not swerve from it. And if it wasn't for faith formation with the middle school students this academic year, which just finished last month, then I wouldn't have had the opportunity. Yet it's a reminder of the things I pray for. I also got to thank the Lord for, and all the opportunities that the Lord has given me through answering those prayers, where I can further empower future generations. They are all superstars. Like I wrote on a board before, you are all superstars. Don't waste your potential. Being able to share this with you now at this time of the day is a blessing, as who knows if I will have the time to get to this later and share this with you. So, in recognition of that, what I did was I created a list of scriptures that I shared with the students on the very last day, as the theme was, where do we go from here? And in a way, that was also leading us up to Easter season, from the Lenten season, and how Advent season complemented that journey. So these are some things that are really important to connect the dots on. So sharing the Proverbs 22, line 6. Now on to Corinthians 3:16. Do you not know that you are God's temple and that the Spirit of God dwells in you? Ephesians 4, line 29. No foul language should come out of your mouth, but only such as good for needed edification, which is something of intelligence, to increase intelligence spans rather than deplete them like brain rot. So I'll read that in one again. Ephesians 4:29. No foul language should come out of your mouths, but only such as good for needed edification, that it may impart grace to those who hear. Romans chapter 8:28. We know that all things work for good for those who love God, who are called to his purpose. Philippians chapter 4, line 8. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good of report, and if there be any praise, think on these things. 1 Peter chapter 4, line 11. Whoever preaches, let it be with the words of God. Whoever serves, let it be with the strength that God supplies, so that in all things God may be glorified through Jesus Christ, to whom belong glory and dominion forever and ever. 2 Peter chapter 1, line 3. His divine power has bestowed on us everything that makes for life and devotion, through the knowledge of him who called us by his own glory and power. Mark chapter 12, line 30. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. 2 Timothy 1, line 7. For God did not give us a spirit of cowardice, but rather of power and love and self-control. Luke 10:19. Behold, I have given you the power to tread upon serpents and scorpions and upon the full force of the enemy, and nothing will harm you. And last but not least, for this list, the same one that was also shared with them on the last day of class is Matthew chapter 28, line 20. And behold, I am with you always until the end of the age. So I'm grateful to share all this with you. And right now, I understand there's some background music or background noise. So we'll try to focus more on the game and less on the background. But I may just end this live stream for how beautiful it is to share this with you, the view in front, and all of the good that can additionally come to fruition. Just like the view I share in front of you, maybe we can try to reach the top of that mountain in this video. It's not a bad idea. But first, let's see if that's, as you can see, I don't really have access to reaching that. However, let's maybe we can get close over here. All right. What I'll do for you is I'll make this a little louder as well. secure about you hearing what's being shared in front of you now. There you go. Hey, Patrick, how you doing? Grateful to have you here. I'm fortunate to share some scriptures before, which are of an influence because you guys exist. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, as I'm grateful to share all of this with you. These graphics, the messages, the connections, how it's all meant to come together. If you're wondering where I'm going right now, it is to go climb a mountain. I hope all is well with everybody here. See those mountains down there? That's where we're going. As you can see, this car takes off. You're wondering what it's rated? It's rated X, which is the top level that this car can be upgraded to. As you can see, it likes to go. And that's something I'm grateful to also share with you. The graphics, the gameplay, the content, the conversations. Move the pad. I'm not sure what the pad means, but oh man. So I forget sometimes that in other countries people don't drive on the same side road. I think that's just something that I automatically forget about. But it's obviously I'm trying to adjust here for this game. But it's a good example of life. Like, how do I adjust? Let's take a little shortcut. When I said we were going for the mountains, I wasn't lying. Believe it or not, although this car has a 10 for launch and 10 in some other areas, especially with the upgrade, as you can see, it's a very powerful vehicle. But in a way, we are all very powerful vessels as well. Technically, we were vessels before the car was a vessel. Wow. Oh, you have a good day with class. I appreciate you being here. Just know only good things are to come. Remember, the incremental progress can result in monumental outcomes. Education is important because it gives you the ability to think for yourself. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. But what can you learn in grade school to save you time when you graduate high school to where it is that you're trying to be from there? I could just go up this mountain. Wow. Technically, this is the first mountain. Oh, great. I didn't even know that. I didn't even see it there, but it was serendipity, I'll tell you that. Oh, thankfully, still got that right before that happened. Oh, I don't know if I can make it up this. Technically, the off road is not a 10 because there's so many other attributes the car has to, in a sense, give up in order for it to have the launch and speed that it has. It would be cool, don't get me wrong, to create a vehicle that has tens all the way down the line, but you also got to think of the type of tires. These are like race car tires on a pickup truck. Doesn't happen all that out. Yes, yes, absolutely. Education is an important aspect of our lives. You got to have it. Even with a master's in counselor education, I could tell you that we're all lifelong learners. Did I know I was going to be doing 9 years of college? Not entirely, but you know what? It's what it is, and it's the person you become in the process, and how do you grow from that as a result? Because ultimately, you are a role model to somebody, whether you believe it or not. And the best way for us to pay homage to our lineage is to break in chains of generational pain. I'm grateful for this view that I'm able to provide you and all the nature that comes with it. As if I could provide this in person as I do online with the same messages, how cool that would be. But for the grace of what I'm able to provide you today, it's what makes all of this worth being here. So just to even go live today, share this stream, it's a blessing itself. Like I said, latitude of gratitude is based on our attitude. Do we perceive the glass as in half empty or do we perceive the glass as in half full? The choice is up to us. We are the difference maker with the way that we choose to live our lives. Your day, in a sense, has multiple parts to it. If you perceive the whole day as a whole, it's easier to break it down into fractions. So if you broke your day down to three parts, let's say morning, afternoon, and night, then what you could do is you could see how are you like, making use of the morning, the noon, and the night. I understand it can be sort of challenging to understand what's going on each day as they can all vary. In addition to night going into day, day going into afternoon, which goes into night. So understanding the prerequisite of how the sun has to rise in order to see it set. I'm grateful for this view that I'm able to provide you here and the time that we have in 2026. As I had said in the paper that was an influence from substitute teaching middle school and high school, is the grace of a combination and a formula of roar plus soar equal triumphant victory. And for the influence I've been able to have on students, it is fair to say that they have increase the quality to how I choose to live my life and the accountability that I additionally carry towards myself because of their existence, which is also cool to see in faith formation teaching to implement a master's in counselor education with the Lord. And somehow I needed a master's in counselor education in order to be in position for RCIA, where I'd start to connect more dots. But my education allowed me to process parts of the past that I may not have initially considered worth processing when I was in high school. However, God certainly gives me these opportunities to reflect. And if it wasn't for the education gained along the way, I see how it could be easy to self sabotage in ways that I wouldn't have ever wanted to initially consider when I was in grade school. That's why I said before in the beginning how do we set students up for success so then they have a chance to process parts of life that they didn't know they needed to process sooner. So when they graduate high school, not to say that they will be a finished product, but maybe they will have a better mind frame of the future than they did before. So for this view that I can provide you, I'm grateful to provide this here today. And I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Thank you.